Sarah Hendricks from the UK. We don't need another individual to tell you what autism is. The mission of my Aspie Bridge is to help you understand that as neurodiverse or Aspie women, we need your help to get across this bridge, to go into freedom, to go into society feeling confident. And we can do that with your help. So please come along to the Aspie Bridge and learn what each week's topic is all about. I will tell you first off, as a disclaimer, because we're talking about therapy and such, I am not a therapist and I'm not anti-therapy. But when you hear my story today, you'll understand why it may not be the best choice for everybody. And I'm hoping to debunk some of the mystery as to when to get a therapist and when to get a life coach. There are advantages, pros and cons for both sides. And when it comes down to it, it's actually you, the highest authority, the best judge of where you go. I just want to help you make some more decisions with more clarity, focusing on the cost of therapy or the cost of life coaching or the benefits of one over the other. I just want to clear up some questions that may come up for you. Now, I'd like to start by telling you my story and how I came to life coaching. Now, if you can go back to about the mid-90s, I had a girl in 1995 and another one in 1998. And I was living in New Hampshire in the middle of winter. I had two little girls. They wanted to go outside, get dressed up in their snowsuits and everything. And then no fail, as soon as I got them dressed up, what do you think happened? They needed to use the bathroom. So this can be exhausting. Now, this is 30 years before I even knew I was autistic. And so I started to look up what SAD is. SAD is seasonal affective disorder. And I found out how much I hated winter. But I found out that it wasn't just me. It was becoming well known. The seasonal affective disorder is a form of depression that is based on weather, environmental issues, and things that can really slow down your momentum. And if anything can slow you down, it's certainly snow. And having little girls that want to go out in the snow in snowsuits, you no sooner get them bundled up and then they want to get out of their clothes, out of their snowsuits. And let me tell you, that's exhausting. So let me tell you, after I learned that I was having experiences with seasonal affective disorder, I started going to therapists. I went to 8 years of therapy, 8 years, and I went to 3 different therapists. Not one of them noticed that there might be a possibility of me being on the spectrum. Not one of them. Every one of them said I was clinically depressed, which can be a severe form that has triggers set to stress, work, school, education, and such. And not one of them even said, perhaps you might be on the spectrum. Well, the autism spectrum was only just being noticed in the boys. The girls wouldn't be even noticed for another 8 years. And Dr. Tony Atwood out in Australia was partly responsible for helping people realize that yes, girls and women can also be autistic. So let's just go back and say 8 years of therapy, 3 different therapists, 5+ years of being on Zoloft, which is an antidepressant, and it did nothing for me. Nothing. I still dealt with all the stresses. Yeah, it might have taken the edge off of it, but when you're trying to find a solution, you don't just want the edge taken off of how you feel. You want a problem solution. You don't want a problem. You want the solution. And Zoloft was not it for me. And I came down to realize that my stresses were weather, loneliness, because when my husband would go off to work and I had the two little girls that wanted to go out and play in the snow, and then they wanted to come in 5 minutes later, I had that. I had limited opportunities in my education field. Here I was, a graduated elementary education graduate, and I couldn't get work. Another hint that I might be autistic right there, but I wouldn't know that for another 30 years. Anyway, let's see. Anxiety with interviews was still part of my life, and marital expectations for me earning income was a big part of my stresses. So while I loved being a mother, I was still stressed because it was expected that I would pull in an almost equal income to my spouse for our living experiences. And that was all part of the seasonal affective disorder, or what therapists would later call clinical depression. Now, let me tell you, and after getting fired from my very last substituting job, which I told you about a couple of weeks ago, and then having the car accident caused by the stress, I found myself in the most wonderful organization, which I had mentioned earlier, Brave Thinking Institute. 1 year is all it took to turn my mind shift 180 degrees. They are a spiritual transformational organization that helps people rise above the conditions, the circumstances, and the situations of life. 1 year of being with them, and I completely was able to turn my mind shift away. I am no longer on Zoloft. I am rising above a situation and looking at it with a more spiritual way of looking at things. Now, I say spiritual, not religious. There is a big difference, and I'll get into that very shortly. So let me tell you, here are the benefits of therapy. There are some great reasons to go to therapy. And some of those reasons are specific behavioral challenges that you are dealing with another person, not necessarily you. And that's important to remember for now. When we are dealing with your situation, that can be taken care of with life coaching. I can guide you through. I've been there. I can guide you through. But when you're having a behavioral confrontation with another person, that's when therapy is helpful. If you're dealing with a toxic relationship, an abusive, emotional or physical abusive relationship, you definitely need to go see a therapist. That is not something that life coaches are able to take care of in that respect. You need to have a therapist to help with those specific behavioral confrontations. Very, very important to remember. However, let's see. Let me look at my notes here again. Finding methods to work with, find a way to learn how to respond effectively, not react, is what therapists can do in these highly toxic or abusive situations that a life coach should not be working with. We don't have the credentials for that kind of work. We can help you with getting you to be a higher version of yourself, but we're not certified to teach you how to deal with some of those higher levels of abuse. And that's where therapy is most beneficial. So if you can think of it as confrontational work is great for therapy, then that will be setting you on the right path. Now, where can therapy be a problem? Therapy can be a problem if the therapist lacks an understanding about the individual traits of autism. If they have in their mind that there's only one kind of autism, that's usually level 3, non-communicative, unable to stand in one place for more than a moment without constant movement, and a few other serious sensory situations, then if that's all they have in their mind for autism, they're not going to see that you're autistic. And that's what I ran into with the 3 different therapists. I could sit there, I get eye contact, I could communicate. In fact, everyone might not be the best for you is if they deny that women are autistic. And they go back to believing that women are just clinically depressed. Because what happens then is you get put onto medications that are not right for your body. And in my case, with the Zoloft, only takes the edge off of the depression. You need to know your medications. You need to not settle on what the MD or therapist thinks is right for you. You are the highest authority. So if you go home and 2 weeks later medication is not working for you, speak up. Because they're going to do more harm for you than they're going to do good. I know another young woman who is on a therapy and she's over medicated. And I don't have a right to say anything to her. We don't have a right to say anything to each other at all. We are the highest authorities on our bodies. We know what the medication does to us. As I say now, I am medication free because I learned other coping skills to get me through the harder moments, such as breathing deeply, finding a quiet corner to read or redirect, or any number of other things that do not require medication. But there are times that a therapist will, 1, miss that you are autistic, and 2, think that they can solve it with a prescription. So know when the red flags when that is happening. A third time when therapy can be problematic is dealing with toxic behaviors. Now, as I said, if they're going to blame you for the other person's behaviors, that is your number 1 red flag to get out of that therapy chair and go find someone else, because you are not the problem for someone else's behavioral outbursts. And I cannot stress that enough. You are not the problem. You need to find a therapist who will take equal sides. And I tell you that because I had a marital therapist who saw his side, could not see my side. It did me more damage than it did me any good. Now, I found my own way out of that marriage, and in the end, we have now found a cohesive way to coexist as parents of our young girls who are now in their 20s. But I have to tell you, it's not easy. And you need to be a self-advocate. If you don't believe that the therapist is helping to work equally on both of your sides, find a new therapist. Okay, so you shouldn't be blamed for anyone else's behavior. You are only responsible for your own behavior. Now, if you find that you can go to another environment where you're supported, but you want to improve on yourself, that's when life coaching can be of help. Where you can find that there are different environments where you can thrive. That's saying that you're not the problem. It means that you just need to change your environment when you're feeling a meltdown or a burnout come up. But never let a therapist tell you you're the problem. The final thing is, and this is very important, and I didn't get this after 8 years. Every time I would switch to therapist, I had to go through and tell my story again. Now, that can bring up a new set of emotions that are similar to the trauma that you might have experienced. So, just when you think that you might be finally healthy and cured of a trauma that you may have gone through as a childhood, telling that story again is not going to help you. So, these are some of the areas where therapy may not be the best answer for you. Now let's go and look at the benefits of life coaching. In life coaching, we can help you move past your story, but take the lessons from it. Such as for me with education, I love the creative side of education. I love creating the bulletin boards. That didn't mean that I definitely wanted to be in a classroom of first graders. And so I learned that there was some give and take, that being creative and creating educational tools was fun. Managing first grade behaviors was not fun. So a life coach can help you learn the lessons of your past, bring them into your future. We can help you to co-create a roadmap for your life by making better choices with clarity and with passion. What do you love about being a teacher? Tell me what that is. What that means is that we can take parts of being an educator or whatever field you're coming from and help you find a new path, a new career path, a new voluntary path to go into where you can take those joys and put it into a direction. And that may be all you need, is to have someone support you and say, I hear that you didn't really like to manage children, but you like the creative side. Let's see where else we can put you. Perhaps in a library, perhaps creating tools for educational stores, things like that. See, we can help you take the best parts of your life from the past, but not have you retell the story. Just take the best parts and bring it into a new set of plans, a roadmap of your life going forward. A third area where life coaching can help you is to help you to find the parts of your life that bring you joy. So you enjoy going to the park on Saturdays, but you don't want to go to a party and a cocktail party at night. Okay, well, let's help you find some more opportunities where there are activities in the park where you can spread out. Let's help you find some more opportunities for joy and for fun in a social atmosphere where you feel comfortable. So maybe you don't like going to a noisy coffee shop, but you enjoy going to the library to meet people. We help you find all different groups that are going to bring you peace and joy, versus putting you in uncomfortable positions where you feel you might have to mask medication to get through. You never need a medication to help you get through a function. It's basically that fun situation is not going to be in your best interest. So let's look at if there are threats to life. Because right now we're still in of our lives where life coaching is not considered to better health, better emotional fitness. And I have to tell you that because it's not considered a viable medical solution for you, they're not willing to put life coaching as a insurance, medical insurance form. You're not able to. So what happens is, for those of you who are not working or on such a tight budget, if you have the choice of going to therapy because your Medicare or your insurance plan will cover it, but you also know of a life coach such as myself or others who can help you. Unfortunately, if you're on a tight budget, you're going to find that you're going to end up going to therapy because you can't afford to go to a life coach, even though the life coach will help you. Now, a lot of you are saying, wait a minute, and you said you're like us, and you didn't have a lot of income. How did you make it to life coaching if that was the case? Well, I'll tell you that I did use some of my divorce settlement to make me a better version of who I wanted to be. So sometimes we have to go to different resources, such as, for me, it was my divorce settlement I used toward some of the life coaching costs. For you, it might be an inheritance, or it might be birthday gifts. I can tell you that on my website for enriching lifestyles, my coaching side of my website, I have what is called a layaway program. And what I allow you to do is, whenever you get money and you want to put it toward a class, I allow you to put it into a bank where I will keep track and give you receipts, so you can see that you're building up to a class. Whenever you get birthday money or get Christmas money, my idea is not to have you go in debt to get help, because we know that going in debt is going to be a stressor. That's not my idea. Yes, I do feel my value is strong, and I do know I can help you because I've been to the other side of the bridge, and I am a much happier person as a result of it. However, I don't want you to go in debt in order to get my services. There's another way, and the way is called Bridge Builders. For you will have a choice of 8 different coaches who will help you for 2-hour slots, 30, 60, 30, so that you can get the help you need to get into society without going in debt, because they are volunteers. You will have a choice of your 8. Now, what happens after 8? If you want some more, well, what we'll do is we'll do a sliding scale, and we'll find out what you can afford in order to get more help. But we do not want you going in debt just to do it. But we do want you to get the value out of seeing what a life coach is. And the next place where life coaching may not be a viable possibility for you is that when family will challenge the value of the life coach because they don't understand that someone other than a university degree person can help you. They haven't looked into life coaching. They haven't looked into the possibility that you can take care of your life if you have the empowerment tools to do so. Think that your life is just what you get. This is what you're handed. Do the best you can with it. And that's not what a life coach is all about. However, family may consider it a cult. And you have to be strong. You have to know what the value is to you in order to know whether or not it is a cult. Are you getting a benefit? Are you allowed to leave when you choose? Are you allowed to dress in any fashion? Are you required to hand over money to walk into a course, meaning a live presentation? Now, I have a live presentation coming up this weekend, and yes, they want $100 to get in, but they give it right back. They just want to know that you're going to show up. And Aspie women, I have to tell you, here I am on YouTube, on a podcast. I have shown up for myself because I am my self-worth, and I want you to feel comfortable to show up for yourself, to come onto screen and say, this is who I am, because you're beautiful. You really are. And we'll help you find it. And let me tell you, if I could show you a picture of what I looked like back in 2010 and you see who I am now, when your heart feels confident, you feel confident, and you feel much better about how you look. That's not a mask. That's a confidence. That's an image. And I happen to have just signed up a bridge builder last night who can help you with finding the right clothes that make you comfortable, but yet you have an image that says to the world, I'm ready to have a great life. Now, maybe that sounds a little toxic positivity to you, and I don't mean it to be. I just want you to know that you're not stuck in victimhood. Now, let's go over the third area. As I said, number 2 is when your family thinks that the program you're entering with a life coach is a cult, or they don't believe that someone without a university degree can help you. You need to know thyself. You know that expression, don't you? Know thyself. If you're uncomfortable, if you get that little ickiness in your stomach that says, I don't feel right here, it's not your organization. Find another one. Because there is a place where you do belong. It's all about you going through and finding it. Just having another autism group meeting on Meetup might be the good place for you. You need to keep trying. Don't feel stuck with making one decision, having to stick with it. Keep moving until you find the right organization. I found my organization. I love it. Will it be right for you? Maybe. But maybe my organization that I'm creating will be even a better one. I have a Facebook page called Celebrating Woman's Life. And on that one, I go through and I celebrate the different milestones, baby steps or great steps that women take to make themselves a better version of themselves. And I go through and I really want you to know that you have the gifts, and I celebrate you. So let's go on. Get back to the threads. I keep getting a little off board. And by all means, ask me a question if you need to in the comments below. But let's recap for a moment. The threat is that medical insurance companies do not cover life coaching. So a lot of times it's out of your own back pocket. This is a time you can use a layaway, use gift money, find ways that you can get into a program that will help you advance your life to where you want it to go. I will work with you. I have the pains of being challenged with money. I will work with you. The second one is a family doesn't understand that a life coach need not be a master's degree in order to be beneficial to your life. The third one is religious denominations. Not all of them, but some religious denominations believe that your life is what God, Allah, whomever you consider the head of your spiritual life, A lot of people believe that they are in full control of what your life will turn out to be. They don't believe in co-creating a life you would love. They don't believe that manifestation is possible. And you have to decide, once again, where do you feel comfortable? Where does it feel right for you? Where does it resonate in your heart? Where does it give you a not so great feeling in your stomach? You have to be the judge of what you think is right. Now, I like that I can take some control over the decisions that I have in my life. I don't have to accept that what is what is. Now, that's not to say that I can just go through a red light or something and say, well, this is what I choose to do. No, we still have to follow the rules of society. It can't be done our way. It has to be according to the rules of society. But no one says you can only buy a small car if you're an Aspie, or you can't drive if you're autistic, or you should wear a mask to fit in. No one can decide that. That's up to you. And a lot of denominations believe you can't make decisions. Yes, you can. You can decide who you want to be. You can decide some of the things that people tell you can't decide. And you just have to say, we'll see about that. And then go about taking the action steps. I applaud action steps. If you're going to sit on the couch and just watch TV because you're Aspie, or like Temple Grandin said last week, stay in your room, that's really not going to give you the best life that you'd love to have. And I can help you. I can help you find your gifts so that you feel the joy. The very last thing that I want to talk about that might be a threat to you coming to us life coaches to do more work on becoming the best version of you is that you're going against conventional standards of society. Per se, you're jumping maybe too many hoops according to someone, or you're going to the supervisor to ask them a question when you should be asking the next person who's in charge of your little section. When people feel that you're going on their toes to get the answers, they don't like that. Now, I do suggest that you start with the next person up in your organization and ask questions and say, thank you for your information. I'd like to try another source. That's not to say you're going to go over their heads. You're just asking another source. You're a pretty good decider of what feels right and what feels wrong in your life. You have that capability. That's why we ask so many questions. And I like the fact that we ask questions. It shows we're curious. Now, there is a way to ask questions and not, and that's next week. We're going to ask Sandra Box to come on, and we're going to have her help you all come to a point where you can speak up, speak out, speak confidently, but yet not speak rudely. We're going to teach you about some of the different ways that you can speak to people in a way that's going to make them feel comfortable with you being there. Because I know we can get excited. I get excited too. I know sometimes I have a habit of interrupting, and I have to just say, excuse me, and stop. So some of the things that are going to come up next week in our conversation is learning how to speak and respond to different environments. This way, you're going to learn how to be the best version of yourself in communication. Now, if you don't have the communication skills yet, we'll find few organizations where you can present through artwork, through music, through different genres, so that you don't have to use your voice. You can find other ways to communicate. So I don't want you to get fearful and say, I'm not a communicator. We're going to help you find your voice for the people you feel most comfortable with, and then we'll find other ways of helping you communicate without words. Maybe it's facial expressions and things like that. So as we go forward, this is our last week of you just listening to me by myself. And I'm hoping that you enjoy the 4 different areas: the strengths, the weaknesses. You learned about how we can get missed opportunities when we don't speak up and advocate for ourselves, and the challenges of competition. You've learned last week that the bridge builders are here to provide new opportunities for you to cross the bridge confidently and get into careers and life opportunities that you might like. And this week you're learning about the pros and cons of therapy and life coaching. And what I would love you to get out of this week is the very fact that, one, you and only you can decide what direction you go. Therapy directly to you. You deserve to be valued. You deserve to know that you can handle things. Now, here's the big but. You need to take responsibility for your actions. People are not going to treat you with respect if you can't take responsibility for those things that you're expected to do. So it's a two-way street. This bridge goes both ways. If you're not doing your part, you can't expect to receive them to do their part. It's a two-way street here. And that's part of going along with the way society is. That doesn't mean you're masking. It just means that you're following the same laws of life that other people are following. You're not blending in, you're just following rules that are set up to make this world a better place. And yes, we can do that. So I hope you've had a great day. I hope it helps clarify when to use a therapist, when to seek out a life coach. And if you have any questions on how to get a hold of me, go to aspiebridgebuilders.com, fill out the form, and I will get in contact with you so we can discuss your own personal situation to get you the best help you need. And at that, I have one last thing I would love to share with you. If you're in for fun, there is a great program that was started by Jerry Seinfeld and company called Festivus. And we have our own little Festivus here at World of Ability Now Network that I would love you to get involved in. Come on to my team. It will be February 1st, February 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. If you would like more information, please contact me so I can get you the information. I don't want to put it up on my computer screen right now because you know when I'm like with putting things up on the computer. But I would love you to be a part of it. If you'll contact me, I'll get you the information. It's a great way to have some winter fun so you're not getting seasonal affective disorder. And at that, thank you very much for coming today. If you have any questions, if you have anything you'd like to discuss, I am a compassionate listener. I've been on your side of the bridge. I want to help you cross together. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Recording stopped.
There we go. What do you think, Emily?